Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin based on novel. So let's start. In the vast land of origin, there are countless forces, and it is quite remarkable for any of them to establish a divine kingdom. The strength of these nations varies greatly. Countries like U Kingdom and Sha Kingdom are considered second-tier nations, significantly weaker than the mountain-sitting Guest's Jin state, which is a real fringe small country. Like the legendary Tianmu Kingdom, which possesses a sector beast, its strength far surpasses that of the Sha Kingdom, U Kingdom, and other countries, rightly claiming the status of a first-class nation. Yet, the Flame-Wind Ancient Country and the Thunder Ancient Country surpass all other nations. According to the information described in the legacy, the most powerful in the Flame-Wind Ancient Country is the Imperial Clan. The Imperial Clan is fiercely competitive internally, divided into 13 branches, each of which is eligible to vie for the throne. Emperor Chu's lineage is one of these 13 branches. Luo Feng finally understood the grand origin of the master of the Flame-Wind Pavilion. I never expected to meet His Highness Emperor Chu Yu in this small border city, Luo Feng said politely. I am not entitled to be called Your Highness, I am just an eternal true God. You can simply call me Chu Yu, Emperor Chu Yu said with a smile. The other descendants of the imperial clan usually put on quite a show outside, but he had no regard for his kinsman. To Emperor Chu Yu, anyone who lacked strength was merely a waste within the imperial clan. Why else would the imperial clan allow 13 branches to compete, if not because there were too many incompetents? Emperor Chu Yu generally didn't reveal his identity while wandering outside, for the name Emperor Chu Yu was enough for anyone slightly knowledgeable to guess his connection with Emperor Chu's lineage. Usually, he just went by Chu Yu. Brother Luo He, you were able to slay Shuiyun, which clearly shows that in all aspects like godly body, realm, and willpower, you have reached an extremely high pinnacle. Within Yu Kingdom, there are very few who could compare to you, Emperor Chu Yu said with a smile. If you can comprehend the primal chaos laws and become a primal chaos overlord, I can help by recommending you. I dare not promise anything else, but becoming a guest elder of Emperor Chu's lineage should not be difficult. A recommendation to Emperor Chu's lineage of Flame-Wind Ancient Country? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask, Brother Chu Yu, you think so highly of me? The more he knew, the more he understood how strict the two great ancient countries were in recruiting guest elders. His mentor, mountain-sitting Guest, wanted to enter the core of the two great ancient countries, but neither would entertain him. To them, a regular godly king held no significance for the ancient countries. Even if you become a primal chaos overlord from the Law lineage, my Emperor Chu's lineage generally would not recruit you. But I am willing to recruit you, Emperor Chu Yu said, looking at Luo Feng. I don't care about your strength, I care about your character. You have been in Huyang City for over 2 decades, and I have seen clearly. Compassion for the weak, deep hatred for the evil, for the sake of your friend Shong Tianyang, you relentlessly pursued Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi, and Shuiyun in anger, Emperor Chu Yu said smiling. You deeply value loyalty and righteousness, and naturally, I am willing to befriend you. Nowadays in the land of origin, some mighty individuals possess high talent but are selfish and ruthless. Who knows when you could be betrayed? Luo Feng understood. It turns out that everything he had done had made the imperial clan of the Flame-Wind Ancient Country admire him. Of course, the premise for the recommendation is that I must become a primal chaos overlord, and then I'll be qualified to recommend guest elders. Of course, you must also be of the Law lineage in the primal chaos realm, which is already the lowest threshold for recruiting guest elders, Emperor Chu Yu said. The deputy pavilion master laughed and said, Luo He, remember never to fully align yourself with Yu Kingdom just in case you can't break free later. Such remote small countries ultimately have too few opportunities. The monarch of Yu Country is just a guest elder of my Flame-Wind Ancient Country, Emperor Chu Yu said. Some remote small countries can't access the real secrets of the land of origin, not to mention top-level resources. It's the same with the master of the Sha Kingdom, who because of his skill in cuisine, is favored by the high echelons of the Flame-Wind Ancient Country, which is why his influence is so extensive, the deputy pavilion master also said. Luo Feng was secretly shocked. The master of the Sha Kingdom skilled in cuisine? Favored by the high echelons of the flame-wind ancient country? There was even this layer of relationship, something his own collected intelligence did not record. Today is just a preliminary conversation. Everything must wait until both you and I reach the law lineage primal chaos realm, Emperor Chu Yu said. Thank you, Brother Chu Yu. Luo Feng was very grateful to him. Soon, Luo Feng took his leave and left. You're recruiting Luo he so early, the deputy pavilion master laughed. Once I achieve the primal chaos realm and get cultivated by our clan, it will be too late to recruit, Emperor Chu Yu said. While I am still relatively free now, I should look for a few suitable assistants. You seem very confident, the deputy pavilion master said. I have completely mastered the 9 moves of the primal chaos realm as recorded in the secret tome, which complement each other well. I feel I am very close to the complete primal chaos laws, Emperor Chu Yu said. The deputy pavilion master was very pleased. A primal chaos overlord with unlimited godly bodies from the law lineage? Ha ha ha, once you succeed, a massive amount of resources from within our clan will be utilized on you. It turns out I made the right choice in helping you. In the land of origin, there were quite a few with unlimited godly bodies who became primal chaos overlords from the law lineage, but the 2 great ancient countries did not care about them. However, if such a genius existed within the imperial clan, that would be different. Naturally they would fully cultivate them. Uncle, you have helped me too much. I remember it all, Emperor Chu Yu said. Primal Chaos Armor Cave Mansion number 913. Mo Yu Qingyang was waiting alone there. Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi, and even Shui Yun have all been killed. According to what my father said, it's very likely it was the master who did it. Mo Yu Qingyang thought about how the master had not returned all night and felt it was very possible. Divine Monarch Shui Yun's bounty was a full 10 million cosmic sand. Within Huyang City, even the city owner's mansion could do nothing about him. Could my master really have killed him? Mo Yu Qingyang was alone in the cave mansion, lost in wild thoughts. Following his master over these years, he found his master unfathomable. Whoosh! The main gate of the cave mansion suddenly opened, and a flying boat entered. Luo Feng and Morosa alighted from the flying boat. Master, Mo Yu Qingyang immediately greeted them. In the coming times, I will have quite a few visitors, Luo Feng said. Besides a very select few important guests, all others must be refused outright. Yes, Master, Mo Yu Qingyang, having been in service for so long, clearly understood who the important guests were. Moreover, from his master's words, Mo Yu Qingyang also realized that it was likely his own master who had killed Shui Yun. Stop guessing, Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi, and Shui Yun were all killed by the master, Morosa said directly. This news won't take long to spread throughout the city. Luo Feng nodded. He had killed several strong individuals from the Shi Kingdom mercilessly, and those from the Shi Kingdom must have had a chance to send out a message before dying. Moreover, the city owner's mansion was also aware that he was the one who had acted. With so many aware, it was bound to become widely known soon enough. Master is formidable, Mo Yu Qingyang felt honored. You should concentrate on your cultivation. You haven't even mastered the 10 fundamental laws yet, Morosa urged. Considering I taught you personally, it's quite a disgrace. I will certainly focus, Mo Yu Qingyang responded immediately. Morosa and I are going to seclude ourselves now, Luo Feng declared, and then he led Morosa to the underground hall. In the underground hall, he first released the Star Tower, and both Luo Feng and Morosa entered it. I've given you your food. Luo Feng placed all the corpses of eternal true gods in one of the layers of the Star Tower space. You can digest it slowly on your own. Thank you, Master. I have a feeling that this time my strength will increase significantly, maybe enough to reach the primal chaos realm, Morosa said excitedly. Among the various foods this time, the first was the corpse of Yu Tianshu, whose bloodline was extraordinary, and his godly body was comparable to the unlimited godly bodies. The assistance provided by devouring this godly body far exceeded ordinary godly bodies. And the corpse of Shui Yun was even more attractive to Morosa than that of Yu Tianshu. This was indeed an unprecedented feast. Immediately, Morosa dived into his designated lair in the Star Tower and started to enjoy the sumptuous meal. Morosa's strength is increasing rapidly, maybe he will reach the primal chaos realm before me, Luo Feng thought. Unfortunately, Any normal cultivator understanding the law of primal chaos has to accumulate it slowly. Even Emperor Chu Yu, of the imperial family of the Flame-Wind ancient country, also had to wander through various places in the land of origin, enduring long years of arduous cultivation. Comparing cultivation speeds with Morosa was indeed asking for self-punishment. My spiritual will should be sufficient now, Luo Feng considered. Even when he was still a true god, his spiritual will had reached the peak of primal chaos overlord. Lately, he broke through from true god to eternal true god in a short time. His godly body was much stronger, and his soul was much more powerful as well. Although a weak soul can also have strong will. The soul is the bearer of will. The weaker the soul, the more difficult it is to enhance will. My soul now is much stronger than when I was a true god, and having cultivated the Great Destruction Heart Refining Technique and the 7 Emotions of Heart Refining Technique from the Lai Yuan Technique for over 2 decades, I feel that I have been making slow progress, but there has been no qualitative change yet. Will, transitioning from the primal chaos realm to godly king, is indeed a fundamental transformation and quite challenging. The resources I've gained this time are plentiful enough that I need to acquire some treasures specifically for will cultivation, Luo Feng firmly decided, with the bounty this time and numerous spoils of war, nearly 30 million cosmic sand. Plus what Brother Shong gave, accumulating just over 30 million cosmic sand. I must transform these resources into strength. Being so wealthy, it was natural to accelerate his own cultivation pace. Shi Kingdom, Liu Yin primal chaos state, within a secluded hall. A figure in dark red armor sat there, his eyes 2 blazing orbs of crimson flame, spreading an aura of dark calamity. Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi, and Shui Yun, all dead. Marquis Liu Yin whispered softly, this Luo He, a close friend of Shong Tianyang, went on a vengeful killing spree after Shong Tianyang's death. His nature of detesting evil makes it difficult to use him for my purposes, Marquis Liu Yin realized. He reached out to touch a crystal sphere in front of him. This crystal sphere was a complete universe personally crafted by a godly king, with an internal space of trillions of light-years in diameter, teeming with countless creatures living and cultivating. He cherished this crystal sphere, for the universe had nurtured some of his subordinates and even produced hundreds of eternal true gods, all small feats in his eyes. What he loved most was the feeling of controlling the entire evolutionary process of the universe and the lives of countless creatures, which was also a form of cultivation for spiritual will. With Luo He in Huyang City, the original plan is no longer suitable, Marquis Liu Yin thought. Well then, let's concede some resources of Huyang City and have the Heart Shadow sect make a move. The Shi Kingdom, Liu Yin City, within a colossal cave mansion measuring hundreds of millions of kilometers, lies the stronghold of a sect called the Heart Shadow sect. A 3-eyed man draped in a grey robe sat on the mountaintop, his 3 eyes gazing into the vast night sky, yet feeling somewhat lost inside. The land of origin is boundless and endless, but there's no place for my Heart Shadow sect to take root, the 3-eyed man sighed silently. All the grand states and many powerful forces have long taken up every piece of land. Even the most marginal and dangerous areas are occupied by those ancient natives of the land of origin. Our Heart Shadow sect only needs a large city to establish a stronghold in. But within a state, every primal chaos prefecture has its master. How can they possibly just give us a large city? The 3-eyed man felt pretty helpless. The foundation of a sect relies on the primal chaos ruins. Only near the primal chaos ruins does the sect disciples have a sliver of hope in becoming primal chaos realm. Otherwise, there's no hope at all. Moreover, the large number of disciples in the sect consumes too much. Only the endless resources of a large city can support the development of the sect. The 3-eyed man was very troubled, but without hope for a long time, the Heart Shadow sect will only grow weaker, and more disciples will leave. As the master of the Heart Shadow sect, I'm only commanding less than 20% of the full complement of disciples from the sect's heyday. The 3-eyed man felt powerless too. He was still upholding the true lineage of the Heart Shadow sect. Those that had split off had long since formed their own factions, even changing their names. My Heart Shadow sect was a grand faction established by a godly king. Even after the godly king's fall, before the split there were 3 primal chaos overlords within the sect. The 3-eyed man just felt sad, but with 1 dead and 2 escaped, the Heart Shadow sect, without the protection of the primal chaos realm, kept splintering and losing disciples. Even I have to rely on the protection of Marquis Liu Yin to maintain the Heart Shadow sect name, the three-eyed man silently said. Marquis Liu Yin is very powerful. Among all the primal chaos realm masters in the Shi Kingdom, he is a terrifying existence that can be ranked in the top 5. The Heart Shadow sect indeed has a formidable enemy. It led to the death of one and the escape of two among the 3 primal chaos realm masters of the sect. However, with Marquis Liu Yin merely protecting a group of Heart Shadow sect disciples below the primal chaos realm, that formidable enemy of the Heart Shadow sect could only tolerate it. Chem. The three-eyed man sensed something, looking to his side as the figure of a blood-red fiery silhouette materialized out of thin air. Marquis, the three-eyed man immediately stood up, showing his utmost respect. Marquis Liu Yin looked at him and said, "Every large city within the territory of the Shi Kingdom has its masters, and there are even branches of great clans and the royal family involved in each of them. I'm unable to secure a foundation for your sect. Just for Marquis Liu Yin's protection, we at the Heart Shadow sect are already endlessly grateful," said the three-eyed man with utmost respect. "Now I'm giving you an opportunity to secure a foundation for your sect," stated Marquis Liu Yin. The three-eyed man's eyes brightened. "Marquis, please command me." He had been waiting for this day. Without the nod from a godly king or primal chaos overlord, the Heart Shadow sect did not dare to forcefully occupy any large city. "There are 3 large cities in the adjoining Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture to my fief," said Marquis Liu Yin. "They are Huyang City, Shuyin City, and Zhujiang City. Among them, the Marquis of Zhujiang lives in Zhujiang City. I need your Heart Shadow sect to help me capture Huyang City and Shuyin City. As for Zhujiang City, there's no need for you to make a move. Capture 2 large cities?" The three-eyed man felt the pressure too. If we attack the Marquis of Zhujiang's fiefs, the Marquis of Zhujiang will likely take action. After all, if they attack the fief of a primal chaos overlord, it would be natural for the opposite party to react. "I will bestow upon you a space-time treasure," said Marquis Liu Yin. "If the Marquis of Zhujiang takes action, I will utilize this treasure to traverse space-time and arrive directly. I will personally deal with the Marquis of Zhujiang." The three-eyed man breathed a sigh of relief. Rest assured, there is a tacit understanding in the conflict between the Shi Kingdom and Yu Kingdom, and eternal true gods will fight each other, but primal chaos overlords won't easily step in. The Marquis of Zhujiang will do everything possible to mobilize eternal true gods. Unless driven to desperation, it's unlikely for him to take action personally, said Marquis Liu Yin. "Even if pushed to the brink, and we fully occupy the entire Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture, I doubt he would dare to make a move." The three-eyed man nodded, facing Marquis Liu Yin. "The Marquis of Zhujiang is naturally no match. I'm actually somewhat looking forward to his intervention," Marquis Liu Yin commented with anticipation. "At their level, they follow strict rules. After all, both the Shi Kingdom and the Yu Kingdom are powerful states. The master of the Shi Kingdom has a special relationship with the Flame-Wind Ancient Country, but the monarch of Yu Country is also a guest elder in the Flame-Wind Ancient Country. Both sides have connections. That is why when mountain-sitting guest first fled the land of origin, the Shi Kingdom and Yu Kingdom were situated side by side. Now, as mountain-sitting guest has returned and Luofeng has penetrated the cycle of reincarnation, the Shi Kingdom and Yu Kingdom are still neighbors, with only minor changes in the borderlands. The 2 great nations dare not easily break the rules, because the price for breaking them would be very, very high. "I will give you detailed intelligence on Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture, with a specific emphasis on an eternal true god called Lord Luo He," said Marquis Liu Yin. "Yes," the three-eyed man replied, asking, "Marquis, after capturing the 2 large cities, where will the Heart Shadow sect be stationed?" "Huyang City will be given to you," Marquis Liu Yin said. "You only need to give me 20% of the residence fee collected from the citizens of Huyang City every century, and another 20% to the God Kings. You can keep the remaining 60%, and the entire Huyang City. The royal capital won't send a manager, the entire city will be managed by you." "Yes," the three-eyed man said, somewhat excited. Apart from having to pay 40% of the residence fee every century, the entire Huyang City would now belong to the Heart Shadow sect, thus providing a solid foundation for its long-term development. A large city with a vast population was a source of unending resources. Even though the residence fee was the most important, there were also plenty of other resources to be had. The prerequisite is that you must capture Huyang City and Shuin City, Marquis Liu Yin said. You need to prepare well, and it would be best to call back some disciples who have left. Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture is not that easy to deal with. I understand, the three-eyed man was very aware of the situation. Although Marquis Zhujiang had Marquis Liu Yin to contend with, the large group of eternal true gods under Marquis Zhujiang's command, as well as the elite forces they could muster, were not to be trifled with. They must call back the disciples who left. To make the Heartshadow sect strong enough to form a power that overwhelms the opposition, he did not want to capture two large cities only to be severely weakened afterward. Marquis Liu Yin nodded. After all, the Heartshadow sect was established by a godly king, and even now there are two primal chaos realm fugitives outside, with deep-rooted influence. They should be able to capture Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture, Marquis Liu Yin thought to himself. He would leave such a tough job to the Heartshadow sect. If a bunch of disciples from the sect died, Marquis Liu Yin would not feel a thing. In Huyang City, within Cave Mansion 913 of the Primal Chaos Armor Sector, this mansion was one of the smaller ones in the sector, inconspicuous, but it had now become one of the most prestigious within the whole of Huyang City. It had many visitors, yet none could even see a glimpse of Lord Luo He. Underground in the ceremonial hall within Star Tower, Morosa was naturally absorbing and digesting the godly body. Luo Feng, through the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall, was gathering intelligence, comparing it with information from the God King Jin lineage and the Duandong River lineage to decide what treasures to buy. As for the primal chaos laws, I still need more time to accumulate. But in terms of willpower, I should be close to making a breakthrough. I'll buy a strange treasure that aids in willpower cultivation first, Luo Feng resolved to himself. If his own willpower could break through to the godly king level, then his ability to deal with danger would greatly increase. Treasures that assist in cultivating willpower are all incredibly expensive, Luo Feng lamented. No option, because his own will was at the peak of primal chaos overlord. Common strange treasures could be ignored for his purposes. He had to buy a treasure used by primal chaos overlords. Naturally, every single one was very expensive. I can only afford one of the cheaper ones. Luo Feng immediately contacted the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. I would like to purchase a Calamity Beast diagram. Lord Luo He, the Calamity Beast diagram is personally rendered by an ancient being of the Flame Wind ancient country. Even just looking at a corner of the Calamity Beast diagram requires a willpower of the Primal Chaos Realm level. If your willpower is below that of the Primal Chaos Realm, even catching a glimpse of a corner would drive you completely mad, the Dark Hall responded. Are you sure you still want to purchase it? I need to buy it, Luo Feng was adamant. Such an expensive item he had already verified through gathering information. Our Flame Wind Association publicly sells each copy of the Calamity Beast diagram for a fixed price of 15 million cosmic sand, the Dark Hall replied. You just need to pay the fee at any of our Dark Hall branches, and within 10 days, the Calamity Beast diagram will be delivered to you. Luo Feng felt the pain in his wallet. 15 million cosmic sand for one diagram. But there was no choice. Out of the willpower cultivation treasures that primal chaos overlords often used, the Calamity Beast diagram ranked in the top 3 in terms of cost-effectiveness. This top 3, the cheapest was the Calamity Beast diagram. Cheap, effective, with a lower degree of risk. To primal chaos overlords, indeed this price was considered very cheap. Some more expensive treasures could even cost over 100 million cosmic sand. 4 primal chaos overlords, who owned a fiefdom and had a constant supply of residence fees, even a treasure costing upwards of 100 million cosmic sand was within their means, albeit with some gritted teeth. With my current wealth, this is the best willpower treasure I can afford. Luo Feng felt that compared to primal chaos overlords, he was still too poor. Meanwhile, under the cover of night, an emissary from Marquis Zhujiang had already arrived in Huyang City. Brother, the white-haired elder greeted warmly a white-haired youth. To think that Marquis personally sent you on this mission. The Marquis indeed places great importance on this matter. He instructed me personally, so I had to rush here as quickly as possible, the white-haired youth, Jiang Yuyo, said. Big brother, where is Lord Luo He right now? The white-haired elder answered, he's in his cave mansion. After killing Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi, and Shui Yun, he first went to collect the bounty at the Flamewind Pavilion. After that, he returned to his mansion and has refused all visitors. I'm here on behalf of Marquis to meet with him. He won't refuse to see me, Jiang Yuyo asked. It would be embarrassing to be turned away at the mansion gate. Don't worry, I've asked Moyu Hu to contact his son, Moyu Qingyang, first to make sure everything is in order before we pay a visit, the white-haired elder explained. Luo Feng was sitting in front of the pavilion on the mountaintop, drinking the highly toxic black marsh fruit wine while simultaneously practicing the Great Destruction heart refining technique. Only with this practice could he achieve a considerable effect on honing his will. This black marsh fruit wine, the more I drink it, the more I enjoy its taste. Luo Feng liked the sensation that influenced his entire godly body and even his soul. There was no helping it, his godly body had grown increasingly terrifying after 3 body refinements. Whoosh! Moyu Qingyang soared up the mountain and said respectfully, Master, the city owner's mansion has sent a message. Marquis of Zhujiang has dispatched an envoy who wishes to visit you. An envoy from the Marquis of Zhujiang? Luo Feng was surprised. Master, do you wish to see him? Moyu Qingyang asked. Of course, I should. Your master isn't so arrogant as to snub a marquis, Luo Feng said with a smile. Tell the city owner's mansion that my place welcomes the envoy at any time. Indeed, many had come to visit him tonight, and Luo Feng had refused all of them before. Within Huyang City, there was a mix of dragons and fish, so many eternal true gods from various powers that Luo Feng actually looked down upon. However, many of these powers had branches in Huyang City affiliated with the great forces of the Land of Origin. Behind these forces might be entities at the primal chaos realm or even godly kings. Therefore, Luo Feng did not want to involve himself too deeply with the branches of these great forces. Getting too involved often meant losing control of one's own fate. The best way was to keep a distance from them right from the start. These branches' eternal true gods held low status and couldn't offer good conditions. Besides, there would be many affairs to deal with. Emperor Chu Yu held a high status and could offer sufficiently attractive conditions, which moved Luo Feng. Of course, only after Emperor Chu Yu and Luo Feng had both advanced to the primal chaos realm through the law lineage would Emperor Chu Yu's invitation become a possibility. Personal talent is important, but external resources are equally vital. Luo Feng was clear on this. Even for him, he might not have reached where he was today without the resources given by his mentor, the mountain-sitting guest. In the Land of Origin, the most precious resources were controlled by the 2 ancient countries. With the assistance of imperial clan resources of the Flamewind ancient country, I could grow even higher. Only then could I be more confident about helping my mentor deal with great enemies. Mo Li Meng, accompanied by the silver-haired young man Jiang Yuyo, came to visit Luo Feng, and among the 5 great families, Mo Li Meng was the most familiar with Luo Feng. Please. Inside the pavilion atop the mountain, Luo Feng, Jiang Yuyo, and Mo Li Meng took their seats. Commander Jiang is one of the 4 trusted aides of the Marquis and holds a position in Zhujiang City that is above many generals, Mo Li Meng introduced from the side. Luo Feng nodded. I have heard of Commander Jiang's name even here in Huyang City. He did not wish to live under the primal chaos overlord's scrutiny, but he was familiar with the basic information about Zhujiang City. The core military forces of Zhujiang City were commanded by 4 trusted aides and 16 generals, making it much stronger than the forces of either Huyang City or Shuin City. Compared to brother Luo He, I fall far behind, the silver-haired young Jiang Yuyo said with a smile. His strength was comparable to that of Mo Li Xiao, both far from the likes of General Yong or Shui Yun. In the entire Yu Kingdom, there are few who can compare to brother Luo He, Mo Li Meng also flattered. Commander Jiang, you've come in such a hurry tonight? Luo Feng asked him. Jiang Yuyo replied, Brother Luo He, your defeat of Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi, and Shui Yun was reported to the Marquis, who was overjoyed. He immediately ordered me to rush to Huyang City overnight and hand this list to Brother Luo He, from which you may choose any one item. As he spoke, Jiang Yuyo took out a scroll, which flew in front of Luo Feng. Unfolding the scroll, Luo Feng took a glance. Void 9 Refinements Secret Manual First Volume, Godly King Level Inheritance. 7 Meteor Killing Method, a complete Primal Chaos Realm inheritance. There were descriptions for 9 inheritances in total. Aside from the first one, Void 9 Refinements Secret Manual First Volume, which was a Godly King level inheritance, the rest were all Primal Chaos Realm inheritances. Luo Feng marveled inwardly, for the Marquis of Zhujiang had indeed been generous. After all, even the Duandong River lineage only had a total of 3 Godly King level inheritances. The Marquis of Zhujiang himself likely mastered several Godly King level inheritances. Of those available for him to impart, perhaps this was the only one. This Void 9 Refinements Secret Manual First Volume, just from the name, one could infer it's related to the Great Tao of Void Origin, which isn't very suitable for me, Luo Feng thought to himself. As one who inherited 2 lineages, Luo Feng was very clear on this matter. Primal Chaos Realm sovereigns mastered the law of primal chaos. To become a godly king, one must comprehend the origin Great Tao contained within supreme rules, like the sector beast Morosa who was born with the Great Tao of Destruction origin. Luo Feng had not studied the Void lineage in depth and did not plan on pursuing that path. Among these 9 inheritances, you, brother Luo He, may choose anyone. Each one is of immense value, especially the Void 9 Refinements Secret Manual First Volume. That is a Godly King level inheritance, truly a rare opportunity, Jiang Yuyo said. The Marquis values brother Luo He greatly and is willing to nurture you with all his might. If you choose none of these inheritances, you can also select 10 million cosmic sand. After thinking for a moment, Luo Feng said, 10 million cosmic sand then. Jiang Yuyo seemed slightly startled. He chose neither the Godly King level inheritance. Indeed, as the Marquis had speculated, such an impressive eternal true God must already possess a powerful inheritance. All right. The Marquis will personally deliver the 10 million cosmic sand to you through the Flame-Wind Pavilion, Jiang Yuyo said. Please thank the Marquis on my behalf, Luo Feng said. The Marquis also personally contacted the monarch of Yu country about you, Jiang Yuyo mentioned. The monarch was also pleased that Yu Kingdom has such an outstanding talent like you, brother Luo He. He said it won't be long before an opportunity arises, and at that time, the monarch will send an envoy with it for brother Luo He. Luo Feng promptly rose to his feet. Please convey my thanks to the Marquis and to the monarch. Without the Marquis of Zhujiang pushing the matter, it might have taken some time for conflicts involving eternal true gods to reach the monarch. With the Marquis reporting personally, for the sake of giving face to his subordinate in the primal chaos realm, the monarch of Yu country would surely make some kind of gesture. So for this, I really must thank the Marquis, as well as the monarch of Yu country. The good intentions of a godly king cannot be ignored by Luo Feng as if he were an uninvolved deity. Brother Luo He has contributed so much to Huyang City, receiving these rewards is only natural. The Marquis has always been this way, whoever earns merit points, the Marquis will never let them go unrewarded, said Jiang Yuyo. However, the Marquis Liu Yin of Shi Kingdom will probably not let this go. If Huyang City encounters trouble again, I'm afraid we'll still need brother Luo his help. Luo Feng smiled and said, how much can the effort of one person affect the situation? In the end, it still depends on the city owner's mansion. Please rest assured about the conflicts between Shi Kingdom and Yu Kingdom, brother Luo He. The eternal true gods will not bully the weak in their struggles in the primal chaos realm, Jiang Yuyo explained. Otherwise, if both sides were to bully the weaker ones, they would have already fought to the point of causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. I understand, Luo Feng nodded. This was an unspoken rule, not just in Yu Kingdom and Shi Kingdom, but across the entire land of origin. An eternal true god, unless unprovoked, the primal chaos overlord, for the sake of face, would not target the weak. But in cases like Ying Kang's, where one has killed the offspring of a primal chaos overlord, it would be normal for the outraged primal chaos overlord to take action personally. Or when primal chaos overlords kill each other in battle, one of them, in a bid to save their own life, naturally can do anything, slaughtering innocents to force the opponent to stop, swallowing a large city whole to restore divine power in the face of survival. No amount of face matters anymore. Having received 10 million cosmic sand from Marquis of Zhujiang, Luo Feng felt his hands were a little freer. 5 days later, the catastrophe beast diagram he purchased arrived. Deputy Pavilion Master. Luo Feng received him politely. The figure enshrouded in grey mist, the Deputy Pavilion Master, walked in and handed a scroll shimmering with starlight to Luo Feng. Luo He, this is the catastrophe beast diagram. Since you dared to buy it, you should already know about some taboos related to comprehending the catastrophe beast diagram. Yes, Luo Feng nodded. As a well-known treasure for will cultivation, both of his inherited lineages had detailed introductions to it. Moreover, having reached the pinnacle will of primal chaos realm, the dangers of comprehension had already been greatly reduced. The catastrophe beast diagram was personally drawn by an emperor of the flame-wind ancient country. The imperial clansmen understand very well how to comprehend the catastrophe beast diagram, the Deputy Pavilion Master said with a smile. Normally, the secret techniques for comprehension are only passed within the large families of the flame-wind ancient country and are not easily spread to smaller nations. This is a void diagram that complements the catastrophe beast diagram. When combined with the two diagrams and used in conjunction with the secret technique, the effects of will cultivation are the best, the Deputy Pavilion Master said as he took out another scroll of the void diagram. Even when the void diagram was rolled up, it seemed to contain boundless space and time. This void diagram. Luo Feng was amazed. The void diagram, only members of the imperial clan may apply to purchase. It was the Pavilion Master who bought it for you, and quite cheaply at that, only 1 million cosmic sand, the Deputy Pavilion Master said with a smile. You must use the void diagram to comprehend the secret technique for it to be effective. Luo Feng's transmission token also received a copy of the secret technique. The void diagram and the secret technique for comprehension are gifts from the Pavilion Master to you, said the Deputy Pavilion Master. Please thank the Pavilion Master for me, Luo Feng said gratefully. The catastrophe beast diagram was not restricted from being sold to outsiders, but the matching void diagram was only available to imperial clansmen, greatly restricting the distribution range. In this world, in the end, it's still about strength. Having shown sufficient strength, both the clansmen from Yu Kingdom and the imperial clansmen of Flame-Wind Ancient Country extended olive branches to him. After the Deputy Pavilion Master left, Luo Feng immediately went into closed-door cultivation to comprehend the catastrophe beast diagram inside the Star Tower. Whoosh! Both the catastrophe beast diagram and the void diagram floated in the air, with the void diagram perfectly superimposed on the catastrophe beast diagram. Based on the information I had before, to comprehend the catastrophe beast diagram, one should start from the edges and gradually expand the area of comprehension until eventually taking in the entire scroll. Luo Feng looked at the catastrophe beast diagram before him. But the method used by the imperial clan of the Flame-Wind Ancient Country is to combine it with the void diagram. Covering the catastrophe beast diagram with the void diagram reflects it across 3,000 layers of the void, creating different scrolls for different layers. After comprehending the 3,000 void catastrophe beast diagram, comprehending the complete catastrophe beast diagram will yield much stronger effects. Luo Feng observed the first layer of the void diagram which reflected the catastrophe beast diagram. The first layer showed a fierce and terrifying exotic beast undergoing countless calamities. With each calamity that befell it, the beast continually transformed. After passing through numerous calamities, the fierce and terrifying exotic beast became dazzlingly brilliant, even producing a light so bright it shone like the sun. This light was the light of the spirit, shining upon Luo Feng's own spirit. Just this first layer of the scroll already required the will of the primal chaos realm to withstand. As Luo Feng watched, he felt as if he himself had become the exotic beast, enduring the calamities. The portrayal of the catastrophe beast in the drawing and the actual calamities were worlds apart, and after being reflected across 3,000 layers by the void diagram, it was weakened by billions of times. By the time it reached Luo Feng's spirit, it had already become very weak, merely allowing Luo Feng to savor a taste of it. By the time he had experienced the entire first layer of the scroll, it was already daylight outside. Is this the fundamental sentiment of the catastrophe beast diagram? To let me understand in advance. Luo Feng immediately began to comprehend the scroll of the second layer of the void that was being reflected, which was enveloped by an endless sense of death. The 3000 void catastrophe beast diagram allows understanding of the catastrophe beast diagram from different angles. The first layer, the fundamental sentiment layer. The second layer, the despair layer of endless death. The third layer, the calm nightmare layer. Fortunately, Luo Feng's own spiritual will was strong enough that he could immerse himself in comprehending each layer one by one. He felt as if he had transformed into a catastrophe beast, going through the trials of each layer. Luo Feng sat alone at the peak of the cave mansion, watching the fine rain drizzle between heaven and earth. The 3000 void calamity beast diagram had immersed Luo Feng so deeply that he had only reached the 8th level before temporarily stopping, partly because his spirit felt tired and needed rest, and partly because he needed to pause and ponder carefully. The experience of a catastrophe beast differs from that of normal cultivators, Luo Feng reflected. From the moment of its birth, it faces relentless calamities, each designed to drive it to total despair and utter destruction. The world of cultivators still had order. But what the catastrophe beasts experienced was endless calamity. If at any moment they gave up in despair, they would die. Only with an heart of eternality can one survive the endless calamities. Each disaster forges them anew. Having survived one, they face another. Such seemingly endless calamities, just understanding the essence makes me shudder, Luo Feng thought to himself. He, too, had undergone trials and tests of life and death, but not as many as those experienced by the catastrophe beast. Each calamity seemed to be ordained by some high and mighty law, Luo Feng mused, sensing this high law was different from the highest laws. The spirit appears to be the most fragile. Once the spiritual will shatters, even if one possesses a powerful divine body and powerful secret treasure weapons, one cannot exert one's full strength. But if the spirit is strong, just by sheer willpower, enemies can be swept away. The heart is a weakness, but it can also be the most powerful weapon. At that moment, Luo Feng also felt some admiration for the catastrophe beast. Having survived so many dreadful calamities, it finally reached the other shore, completely transforming itself. Suddenly, Luo Feng felt that inside his body, the Star Tower, Morosa was asking to come out. Master, let me out, Morosa communicated telepathically. Upon Luo Feng's intention, Morosa appeared out of thin air beside him. Morosa lay down contentedly as he watched the drizzle outside, comfortably rubbing his belly. The corpse of Shui Yun is still in the Star Tower. How come you're resting? Luo Feng looked at him, fully aware of everything inside the Star Tower. I'm a bit over full, Morosa lied comfortably, communicating telepathically. I first absorbed other eternal true god corpses, which were only marginally helpful. But Yu Tianshu's corpse is too strong and its bloodline so special that I'm stuffed and can't digest it right away. Even a sector beast could become over full if it ate too rapidly. The fact that Yu Tianshu could cultivate to make his divine body comparable to unlimited divine bodies testified to the terrifying nature of his bloodline. You can get stuffed too. Luo Feng teased telepathically. I feel that if I digest for a while, even without absorbing any more divine bodies, I could suffice to reach the primal chaos realm for dozens of eras. Morosa excitedly stood up, transmitting, Master, if I continue to absorb the divine body of Shui Yun after some days, I believe I could directly enter the primal chaos realm after completely absorbing it. Luo Feng was astonished. So soon you want to enter the primal chaos realm? Luo Feng looked at him. Yu Tianshu's divine body, comparable to the unlimited divine bodies, is just smaller in size, yet his bloodline is extraordinary. The divine body of Shui Yun attracts me even more than Yu Tianshu's, Morosa telepathically communicated. I am certain, once I have absorbed the divine body of Shui Yun, I will certainly achieve the primal chaos realm. Master, when will you achieve the primal chaos realm? Morosa telepathically communicated, deliberately asking. Luo Feng looked at him. How are your will cultivation techniques coming along? Later on, inside the Star Tower, how about we spar and test out the secret technique of willpower? Morosa gamely grinned. Go and teach Qingyang. That kid has yet to grasp even the 10 fundamental laws, Luo Feng urged. Yes, yes, Morosa didn't boast, instantly transforming into a shadow and flying towards the mountain base to find more Yu Qingyang. Luo Feng slightly shook his head. Days passed, and Luo Feng, aside from resting every few days, spent his time on understanding the Calamity Beast diagram. Suddenly one day, Master, more Yu Qingyang urgently transmitted. What is it? Luo Feng was currently inside the underground hall of the Star Tower, delving into the Calamity Beast diagram. He knew Mo Yu Qingyang wouldn't disturb him lightly. There's a letter for you, said to be a personal letter from the Marquis of Liu Yin. Mo Yu Qingyang felt pressured, as a personal letter from a primal chaos overlord naturally couldn't be ignored by the master. Boom! The door of the underground hall opened. Luo Feng walked out, his figure flashing, and he soon arrived at the main entrance of the cave mansion. Lord Luo He, standing at the cave mansion's main entrance, was a rock creature who smiled accommodatingly. I am Chen Shijiu from Qian Shi Commerce Association, entrusted by the Marquis of Liu Yin of Shi Kingdom to deliver this personal letter to you. The Qian Shi Commerce Association was also a major commerce association spread across multiple nations, backed by several godly kings, and likewise had a branch in Huyang City. Thank you, Chairman Chen. Luo Feng knew the other's identity. Just delivering a letter, so I'll take my leave now, the rock creature said with a smile. As the chairman of the Qian Shi Commerce Association branch in Huyang City, his status and influence were top tier within the city, but he remained very humble in front of Luo Feng. Luo Feng took the letter and watched the other leave. The door closed, and Luo Feng's figure flashed as he already reached the top of the mountain. He immediately began to examine the letter. As he peeled away the outer layer of the seal, the letter burst into flames, burning into a mass of blood-red fire, startling Luo Feng slightly. A divine power incarnation? Luo Feng naturally realized that a strand of terrifying divine power was hidden within the letter, which was triggered as he opened it. The blood-red flames coalesced into a figure clad in dark red armor, vaguely emitting an aura of dark disaster, smiling at Luo Feng with eyes that were two blazing orbs of blood-red flames. Even as he smiled, Luo Feng still felt an ominous terror, carrying a strong threat. Marquis Liu Yin. Luo Feng was also somewhat familiar with simple information about Marquis Liu Yin. It is I, Marquis Liu Yin nodded with a smile. I heard about a remarkable eternal true god in Huyang City, and I came to meet him in person. The Marquis flatters me. Compared to you, we eternal true gods are not worth mentioning, Luo Feng immediately replied. Today you are an eternal true god, perhaps in the future, you will also be a primal chaos overlord, a peer of mine. Marquis Liu Yin stood atop a mountain looking at the vast city, Huyang City, a beautiful city indeed. I intend to make it part of my fiefdom. What do you think? Luo Feng immediately said, the conflict between Liu Yin Primal Chaos State and Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture is not something an eternal true god like me can decide. Marquis Liu Yin gazed at the vast heaven and earth, sighing, in the land of origin, powers are mixed, every resource has its master. Even godly kings often have no chance to intervene in the most precious resources. Those of us who want to ascend the path of cultivation, evolving to higher levels of life. Personal cultivation is one part, resources are another. Marquis Liu Yin looked at Luo Feng. The fiefdom of a primal chaos overlord can produce resources endlessly. Unfortunately, I only have one primal chaos state as my fiefdom, too small. Luo Feng listened. According to the rules of Shi Kingdom, a primal chaos overlord has only one primal chaos state as a fiefdom. Want something bigger? You have to conquer it yourself, Marquis Liu Yin commented. Zhujiang primal chaos state adjacent to mine is my perfect target. For my path of cultivation, I need to expand my fiefdom, stated Marquis Liu Yin. No one can stop me, for stopping me is to obstruct my path of cultivation. The voice of Marquis Liu Yin carried an unshakable will. If the Marquis of Zhujiang obstructs me, I will handle him personally. Marquis Liu Yin looked at Luo Feng, and at the level of an eternal true god, your single-handed power can surpass the entire army of Huyang City. I hope you do not intervene in this matter. If you do not intervene, I will send you a gift, and we can also be friends. If you intervene, messing up my plans. Marquis Liu Yin looked at Luo Feng. Think about it, is it worth it to risk your life for an unrelated Marquis of Zhejiang? After finishing, the figure of Marquis Liu Yin dissipated. Knowing Luo Feng's intelligence after understanding his loathing of evil and that he was difficult to use, Marquis Liu Yin decided to intimidate him a bit. A retreat on Luo Feng's part would naturally be good. Even if unsuccessful, there was no loss for him. This Marquis Liu Yin seems very intent on seizing Zhejiang Primal Chaos Prefecture. Luo Feng slightly frowned. Clearly even Primal Chaos Overlords cared greatly about the continuous resource output of their fiefdoms. I should still act with caution in my future actions, thought Luo Feng. In fact, Luo Feng had never truly intended to risk his life for the Marquis of Zhejiang. Whether it was the regular conduct of the 5 great families of the city owner's mansion or preparing himself to cope with the future kings of Sha Kingdom, there was no need to put himself in jeopardy. Marquis Liu Yin coming to see me personally, this Huyang city and even the entire Zhejiang Primal Chaos Prefecture, might be about to face a war, Luo Feng thought for a while, then returned to the underground hall. The ownership of Zhejiang Primal Chaos Prefecture should worry the Marquis of Zhejiang, the godly kings of Yu Kingdom, not himself. How many benefits were there really, to warrant risking his life? Inside the Star Tower, Luo Feng sat cross-legged, gazing at the 3000 Void Calamity Beast diagram floating in midair. At the 533rd layer, the Catastrophe Beast faced battle after battle, during which it also encountered some companions. Luo Feng could see on the reflected Void diagram, besides the Catastrophe Beast, there were some similar catastrophe creatures, but its companions fell one by one, some even killed by the Catastrophe Beast itself. At the 679th layer, the Catastrophe Beast had no more companions. At this moment it was even more lonely, yet even more powerful. Its spiritual will grew more terrifying, solving all the calamities it faced. Luo Feng vaguely sensed a path of telepathic cultivation, belonging to the Catastrophe Beast's telepathy method. At over 600 layers, the Catastrophe Beast spiritual will had grown terrifyingly, far surpassing Luo Feng at that moment, capable of causing the vast heaven and earth to vanish and the intangible laws of calamity to collapse with just a thought. A whisper of realization from Luo Feng made him feel his own spirit also slowly transforming. At the 852nd layer, the Catastrophe Beast encountered the most terrifying calamity ever, another similar Catastrophe Beast. The two beasts fought a battle to the death. This terrifying battle lasted a long time, until the 873rd layer in the Void Reflection diagram, the Catastrophe Beast finally triumphed, undergo a significant transformation during this victory. Luo Feng, just by observing the 3000 Void Calamity Beast diagram, and from the imageries of these scrolls, felt as though he was growing alongside the Catastrophe Beast, and he gained a lot from it. A heart can be large or small. Large enough to be an enemy of the supreme laws, small enough to merge with countless lesser beings. After merging with numerous lesser beings, it can match the highest supreme. At the 873rd layer, as the Catastrophe Beast triumphed and transformed completely, Luo Feng perceived more of the Catastrophe Beast's method of telepathic cultivation, his own spirit also slowly transforming. Boom tilde tilde tilde. Long since an eternal true God, he had been at the peak of a primal chaos overlord's will. Nurtured in a formidable godly body, honed under the secret technique of L. This video will end here.